When you're the captain of a big club like Manchester United, you know the whole world's going to be watching you.
Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah.
And when your manager is Erik ten Hag, you know that it's about to be a crazy ride. These are the strict rules that Bruno Fernandes has to follow as Manchester United's captain. For those of you who don't know, Bruno Fernandes is Manchester United's captain. But he's been captain for a long time, you might be saying. While you're not wrong, you're not right either. You see, Manchester United was led by the one, the only, Harry Maguire. Yes, the world's most expensive defender who joined the Red Devils in 2019 from Leicester City used to be the club's captain until the 2023-24 season. It did not take the England defender a season before the manager at the time, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, gave him the huge responsibility. Now at the time it was deserved, because Maguire was one of the best defenders in England. He was a rock at the back and was even one of the most important players for the England national team. But after he took on the Manchester United armband, a heavy weight fell on him that he could not carry. Maguire became a shadow of himself, and soon he began to spend more and more time on the bench. At the time, United had signed a certain Bruno Fernandes from Sporting CP in Portugal, who showed exceptional leadership and match-winning talent. As Fernandes began to take on more prominent roles in the team on the pitch, the manager handed him the armband to be worn whenever Maguire was sent to the bench. By 2022-23, Maguire had become a squad player. He was barely considered for games, even though he was always on the bench. He started only the less important ones or came in for injured players. In that time, Fernandes continued to wear the armband, and in the summer of 2023, the club chose to give him the responsibility full-time. Now you know how Fernandes came to be the captain of one of England's biggest clubs, and so far he's been a fine captain. But it's not a bed of roses for the man. There are some things he must do, or the theatre of dreams can turn into the alley of nightmares for him. Erik ten Hag has operated with the same 5 rules at every club he's coached. The media calls them his 5 commandments. The first is no alcohol. Now this makes sense. You can't have players coming to training drunk as a skunk, or worse, lining up for a game smelling like a distillery. But Erik ten Hag is so strict with this rule that he bans his players from alcohol for a whole season. Not even on their off days when they're chilling with friends or celebrating a milestone like a partner's birthday, or even being made captain of Manchester United. The second is no personal chefs. That is to say, any player who cannot cook or have relatives who cannot cook living with them is at the mercy of Manchester United's chefs. Players only eat what the club's nutritionists and dietitians suggest. Players only prepare and eat meals according to the meal plans the club's kitchen staff make for them. Even their cheat meals are monitored. If any Manchester United player cannot cook or lives with anyone who cannot cook, they eat their meals at Carrington. Talk about strict. But it gets even crazier. The third is that all Manchester United players will report for regular body mass checks. Erik ten Hag wants to make sure that his no personal chef rules are followed to the letter. With every player having a meal plan tailored to them and the position they occupy on the pitch, it also means that the calories and nutritional information are carefully curated. Now, anybody who goes above their recommended calories intake will definitely add some weight. Ten Hag's regular checks are for that. The consequence of being overweight? Brutally murderous training that makes the training which the military of any country goes through look like a mere obstacle course. Wait, there's more. The fourth is no late coming. Pretty straightforward, am I right? No one wants a tardy teammate after all, it's not cool. But there could be loads of reasons that make a teammate run late. Well, seems like Erik ten Hag is not interested in any one reason the players have, because any player who comes late to training gets dropped. That's right, you don't get to play the next few games until you show consistent punctuality for a period of time. No excuses. Pretty draconian, don't you think? But then again, he is willing to listen because the last of his 5 commandments is his open door policy. Players must never speak to their agents or managers or the media if they have issues with the way he operates. They need to see him first before anything. Now, this is the cold running water that runs down the back of the players who have been thrust into a hot situation, like a chilled bottle of water in a hot summer day. If you're a Manchester United player and you have issues with the lateness rules, speak to ten Hag. Have issues with the feeding rules? Speak to ten Hag. Have issues with the body mass checks? Speak to ten Hag. He is ready to listen, but Bruno Fernandes gets to initiate this conversation as the team's captain. You see, the thing with being a team captain is that you're the bridge between the players and the coach. Every rule from the coach, you must follow them, and when the players have issues, you have to speak for them. But most importantly, you must make sure your coach's wishes are respected at all times. That's the one rule that Bruno Fernandes must follow as Manchester United's captain. And any team punishment, he gets double of it. He gets the media scrutiny, the coach's scolding, and the players' complaints. He also gets the big fines in the team. It's a responsibility that not many can carry, and with a manager like Ten Hag, it could feel like twice the effort to lift such heavy burdens. Now, this is the main rule that Bruno Fernandes has to follow as Manchester United's captain. But is it the only rule? Erik Ten Hag is big on accountability. This is why he chooses partners in the squad for each player. The player and their partner are responsible for making sure that they both follow the rules. But for Captain Bruno Fernandes, everyone is his partner, and he is in charge of making sure that the 3 golden rules of the squad are upheld. Don't be late, don't do the wrong things, always help your partner. Must be tough being the man responsible for making sure the team is of good behavior at all times. Not to talk of how much he has to do to make sure they don't fumble on the pitch. Luckily, he's got enough individual talent to save situations. Bruno Fernandes is a great captain, but you know who else is? The Premier League's youngest captain, Martin Odegaard. Click this video to see the rules he has to follow under Mikel Arteta at Arsenal.